Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Big Donch Podcast, episode 29. Today, we'll be talking about the NFL preseason and what to expect for the season openers, Bryce Harper's return back to the Phillies, and a whole lot more. Just a reminder to like the Big Donch Podcast on Spotify, subscribe to my YouTube, Big Donch, and follow me on TikTok, which is also called Big Donch. It will be greatly appreciated. So we saw the NFL preseason come to a close. It was an exciting one this year. We saw a lot of rookies, show their talent. We saw, of course, a lot of free agents like Mitch Trubisky show what he could do, and of course, a whole lot more. We saw Malik Willis, compete for that spot, which we'll talk about later. We saw for the Steelers, George Pickens and Kenny Pickett have an amazing preseason. We saw Turpin, I'm pretty sure his name is for Cowboys, had 2 returning touchdowns. Whoever the returner was, don't want to mess up his name, but let's get his name right. Turpin, I'm pretty sure that's his name. Cavante Turpin, but is he a rookie? Let's see if he's been in the league for quite some time now or not. No, he's been around. Okay, went to TCU, went undrafted in 2019, but he had 2 touchdowns. I know, of course, a lot of people are jumping the gun with him, but it's too early to tell. I know 2 returning touchdowns in any game preseason that was very impressive, but too early to tell. That's the same with everything. Going with the Steelers now. They went undefeated in the preseason, but do I care? No, it doesn't say anything. We usually always do good in preseason just for us to do okay in the regular season. But what we saw was a QB battle across the board. Okay, we already saw me react to the first Steelers preseason game, and I talked a lot about it. But we saw good QB battles across the board. Mitch Trubisky, Rudolph, and Pickett. They had an amazing preseason, all 3 of them. Our offensive line, however, was terrible, but we'll get to that. I do believe Mitch Trubisky should be the starter going into week 1. I think he will be. I'll be surprised, very, very surprised if it's anybody else. Now, Pickett and Trubisky are very, very close. You could say they're about the same talent-wise. I'll be honest with you. I know Mitch Trubisky, we saw in the past with him on the Bears, he was average. He was an average quarterback. I wanted to give him a chance. I did want the Steelers to give him a chance. I feel like, he did play pretty good, his first couple of years, especially behind a terrible line in the Bears offense. Then went to Buffalo, sat behind Josh Allen for a year, and now he's here. I want to give Mitch a chance. I still believe that he is a bit average, but hopefully he can just do what he has to do to just get us through this down season. I feel like this is a rebuilding year. We're not winning the Super Bowl. I say this all the time lately. The Steelers are not winning the Super Bowl, so I really don't care much what we see. But I do just want to see them at least make the playoffs or just have a winning season. Just, hold us together while we continue to rebuild. I was saying the other day that if Mitch Trubisky, if he plays all year, that's a good thing. Because if he's playing all year, that means he's playing good. And if he's playing good, that means the Steelers are playing good. Okay, that's all we need is a good quarterback. That's all we need. The Steelers team, all the Steelers team needs is a really good quarterback. It was holding us up last year. It was what was holding us up 2 years ago. Even though I love Big Ben, obviously he was out of it. Our quarterback was holding us up. We need to have a mobile quarterback. Even though Mitch isn't that mobile, not as mobile as Pickett, they're still a lot more mobile than Ben Roethlisberger. That gives us more freedom. That gives us more opportunities. And maybe Matt Canada does have, maybe he does, improve a lot with his offensive calling. Maybe his offensive calling was never the problem. It was just Big Ben the problem. Who knows? I think it was a little bit of everything. But once again, if Mitch plays all year, that means the Steelers are playing good. If Mitch gets subbed out for Pickett, that means that the Steelers aren't playing too good. And I feel like Pickett, if he gets put in that situation halfway through the season, it's going to be hard for him to turn it around. Who knows? I'm rooting for every single quarterback. I'm rooting for anybody who goes behind center. I'm rooting for any Steeler player. Going on to Rudolph, of course, people wanted him to trade it, but I'm pretty sure the Steelers are going to be sticking with him. I'm all right with that. I mean, we could have got maybe a 4th-round pick, 5th-round pick with that. Maybe more, depending on how good of a GM our Steelers GM is, but I really don't know what's going to happen with that. I guess we're sticking with him, and I'm all right with that because he's still one of the best backups in the league. Our QB room's very, very good, but together at the same time, it's average. Every single player is average, but together, it's a very, very good QB room, if you get what I mean. Like, for example, the Packers. No, I won't use the Packers. I'll use the Chiefs, or I'll use the Buccaneers. Chiefs and Buccaneers. They have very, very good quarterbacks, Okay, I'll use the Bills too. Very, very good starting quarterbacks, but their backups aren't that good compared to the Steelers. All their quarterbacks are average, but all three of them are average. So that makes the quarterback room very, very good. If you get what that means. But Pickett did still play good though. He had that winning drive for us at the end. I'm sorry, the first game I think it was, but he did have a two touchdowns. Our O line continues to struggle though. I thought we were supposed to improve by signing Dan Moore. We were supposed to get a lot of improvements with offensive line this year, which we did. Technically, we did sign players to improve, and it's still playing bad. Now, I guess it's preseason, but I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Okay, is it a bad thing that we're letting people get through like nothing? Or is it okay that because maybe it's just preseason, it's not that big of a deal. Maybe, all that matters is come week one, offensive line holds up. Offensive line and quarterback are our two biggest weaknesses. Just give Najee Harris the ball with a good line, and it's over. He'll be rushing for 1,300 yards, double-digit touchdowns, 400 receiving yards with 5 touchdowns. That's my prediction if he has a good line. Right now, he'll still be a good player, but that's going to be holding him up. And now I'm just worried about, of course, he goes down. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to see Najee go down because obviously I don't want to see him hurt, number one. But two, our running back room isn't that good as well. We kept Benny Snell instead of McFarland, which I was kind of surprised with. I thought McFarland was better than Snell. So our running back room after Najee is very, very bad. So we need Najee to stay healthy. Offensive line does not help. I also feel like with anybody who's at quarterback, as long as we have a good line, they can do enough to get us to the playoffs. But if our O-line is going to struggle like this, I mean, what's the point? What's the point? Going on to other teams now, we're seeing a lot of Malik Willis or Tannehill. A lot of people are saying Malik Willis, QB1. And all I got to say is no. You're not going to start a rookie quarterback over Ryan Tannehill. I get Ryan Tannehill is average quarterback. He was good the first year he was in Tennessee. He actually made the Pro Bowl. This last year was pretty average. You're not going to start. You still shouldn't start a late round quarterback they drafted in Malik Willis just because he played okay during the preseason. That's a bad decision. Obviously, the Titans made that decision because they know they're making the decision to start Tannehill because they know that starting Malik Willis first game because he had a good preseason over a veteran Tannehill, that would just be a dumb move. And I agree. Main reason why he's doing good is because that was his play style in college, and the guys he was playing at in preseason were a lot of guys fresh out of college. So obviously he's gonna be playing good, but he plays actual real defenses, real veteran defenses. That's not gonna slide. Can he still be successful? Absolutely. But throwing him in, people calling him QB1 right away, that's a terrible decision. Terrible, terrible decision. It still needs to be Tannehill until Tannehill proves that he absolutely can't get it done. He took the Tennessee Titans to the playoffs 2 years in a row. He can still get it done. He's obviously average last year. Maybe might be holding them back, but I'll hold them back enough to start Willis. So I just keep riding with Tannehill, I believe, until he's obviously the problem and he's the main reason why the Titans are losing games. Until then, keep Tannehill as a starter. Tom Brady, of course, sitting out. Not sitting out anymore, but he was sitting out for a bit. And I just had to notice something that I saw was his face. It looks like he's getting plastic surgery. So maybe that was the reason why he sat out those couple of days. Because, of course, nobody knew. He was out for personal reasons, but we're seeing now, I guess that's what money does. If you look at his face, it's terrible. Plastic surgery, I guess. But anyway, Tom Brady, I put him in this because I feel like he's not going to be that good this year. I really don't. I feel like he's going to be good, but not as good as he was for his whole career. I feel like this is the year that we see him fall off. I think he should have just stayed retired. He's obviously second in MVP last year. However, I think he just looks drained. I feel like he doesn't really want to do this. We'll see though. Obviously, it's Tom Brady. Every time I doubt Tom Brady, or anytime anybody doubts Tom Brady, he ends up proving them wrong. Obviously, 7-time Super Bowl, went to the Buccaneers. First year he wins the Super Bowl. It's insane how he's the greatest of all time. He is, but I just feel like this year he's gonna fall off. Still be good, but not as good as he was, and he'll rethink retirement again. Vikings got robbed today on Wednesday, August 31st, in case people are listening to this on another day. They got Jalen Reagor, who is a very disappointment, who was a big disappointment on the Eagles. They got robbed. They got Jalen Reagor, just Jalen Reagor. Okay, they gave up a 2023 7th-round pick, a 2024 conditional 4th-round selection. That's too much. That's too much. I feel like they should have just kept that 2023 7th-round pick. I saw another post. There was another pick, but another draft pick. I'm pretty sure he got, but still, absolutely robbed. I mean, 7th-round pick, that's it. But a 4th-round pick, that's insane for Jalen Reagor. Disappointment, but hey, maybe he'll prove us wrong again. In 2 seasons in Philadelphia, he has 64 receptions for 695 yards and 3 touchdowns. So not that good. He was picked over Justin Jefferson. So that's something Eagles fans, of course, will always regret. Expected predictions video next week. I'll be posting predictions for all the games around Wednesday or Thursday next week. It's back. I'm so happy for football to be back. And also, I have my draft this Sunday in my fantasy league, so I'll be posting on Monday all the players I drafted and what I think about it, showing you guys who I drafted. That will be both those videos will be both on my YouTube. Moving on to the NBA. KD will probably stay with the Nets, even though he stirred up a bunch of stuff just to stay with the Nets. He wanted Steve Nash to be gone. The main reason why he didn't want to be on the Nets was Steve Nash. I don't think it was that big of a deal. I don't know why he doesn't want to be on the Nets because of him. I don't know I don't know what's the problem with Steve Nash, but he wanted out. Nets, though, they still have Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and Ben Simmons. On paper, that seems like a very, very good team, of course. I mean, you have 3 of those guys. Ben Simmons, who was at one point one of the best defenders in the league. Kyrie Irving, of course, one of the best scorers in the league. Same thing with Kevin Durant. I mean, probably the best scorer in the league, Kevin Durant. On paper, that team's a first seed in the East, but their chemistry is not that good. Obviously, I don't know how a team's chemistry could be good when your star player went out. You know what I'm saying? Like, how could a team's chemistry just be okay when the best player wanted out? They wanted to go to a different team. Now he's magically back and everything's fine. That's not going to work compared to, let's say, the Bucks, for example. And Giannis wanted to stay on the Bucks, and they formed. They didn't have any problems. That's the teams that are obviously going to win. Good chemistry. We saw Thunder's first-round pick, Chet Holmgren, be out for the season with the ankle injury. I guess he was playing in a Pro-Am game and went to guard LeBron and injured his ankle, and that just proves that maybe you're not. If you're young, you should be playing in some Pro-Am games. Pro-Am games are for the older guys who are used to basketball. Even then, maybe not even be playing in them. But he's out for the year now. That's a shame. But we saw a lot of players come back from injured rookie years. Okay, Ben Simmons, for example. Joel Embiid, he was out. He got injured his rookie year. So hopefully, he comes back next year stronger, puts on more weight, and he'll be a problem. A good problem. MLB, Bryce Harper is back. Just played amazing. He went down to Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs for rehab, and he destroyed that up, hit a bunch of home runs, comes back. I don't think he has any home runs, but he has a bunch of base hits. So still playing off like he never left, playing like an MVP, like usual. But the Phillies, however, are worrying me. They just blew a 7-0 lead 2 days ago against the Diamondbacks and ended up losing 13-7. Then last night they lost 12-3. They have one more game against the Diamondbacks tonight at 9:40. But thing is, they came off a 6-game winning streak. Of course, against 2 bad teams, the Reds and the Pirates. But then they play the Mets before those 2 games. 2 series, I meant, and they just get embarrassed. So they do worry me. They do worry me about how they do against good teams. Yeah, they could beat the bad teams, except the Diamondbacks, but they could beat the bad teams. But then they play the Mets or they play the Braves, and they don't do too good. And that's what worries me. Come playoffs, of course, all I need is a couple good games instead of all season. But to be honest, they worried me. Justin Verlander was put on the IL. He has I have to look at it quick. I'm pretty sure a shoulder injury. Looking at ESPN right now. Calf injury. I'm sorry, calf injury. But I want to mention this because he is my Cy Young favorite. I think he will win the Cy Young. He has an amazing record this year. Let's see if we can find more on his record. I'm pretty sure he's at 15-3 with his record. He's a 1.3 3.5 ERA in his last 10 starts with 8 wins, 0 losses. He has 16 wins actually overall. So I believe he is the Cy Young winner for this year. In the AL. In the AL, the Astros are in. Going into fighting now before we wrap up this quick podcast today. Usyk does beat Joshua. He defeated him in the second matchup. I did post that reaction on my YouTube, so make sure to check that out if you get the chance. But that brings up now Fury versus Usyk. Okay, two of the best heavyweights. Not one of. This isn't like an opinion. This literally is like the two best heavyweights in the division right now. Fury has the WBC belt. Usyk retained all of his other belts. That fight needs to happen. But Fury wants a lot of money. And the time's running out where he said that the deadline is like in 7 days, since I think like the day after the Usyk Joshua fight, he gave him 7 days to make a deal. That's too short. Fury's my favorite fighter of all time, but he's going a little crazy. Well, one, he retired 100 times since his Dylan White fight. And now he has a chance to fight Usyk, which I think he should fight Usyk. Everybody thinks that he should fight Usyk to have a chance to undisputed it. Same thing goes for Usyk. But now he wants half $5 billion. That's just not gonna happen. Obviously Floyd Mayweather got close to that, but Fury is not Floyd Mayweather. As much as Fury is good, he does not bring in the amount of views as Floyd Mayweather once did. But this is something to discuss now. This is something to actually take serious. If Fury does fight Usyk and he wins, comes undisputed, I think it's time for us to put Tyson Fury in the top 3 greatest heavyweights of all time. I think it has to be done. Going undisputed, undefeated. I'd assume he would retire. I don't know if he'd retain the belts. I don't know who you'd retain the belts against. It'd be fun to see him face Joshua because everybody, of course, wanted him to face Joshua for years. But I feel like that'd be useless because Fury's better than Joshua. I just feel like that is common sense, especially if it's Usyk who beat Joshua twice. I feel like Fury would stop Joshua. We saw Fury already better than Wilder. He's better than Dylan White. He'll be better than Andy Ruiz. There's nobody in the division besides Usyk right now that could beat Fury, and that's not even guaranteed. Who knows what can happen? I think Fury is a better fighter. I think Fury could beat Usyk, but I think it could go either way. So we really don't know. This is one of those fights. I love fights like that when you just don't know. You just don't know. We have the Triple G. We got Triple G versus Canelo coming up. That fight, I got mixed feelings on. I love Triple G. Of course, love Canelo, but Canelo's in his prime still. Triple G's 40. And he's bumping up weight too. He's going up to super middleweight. Now he fought in middleweight basically his whole career until like the last fight he had. This is for the undisputed belt. I of course believe that Triple G did deserve the third fight, but it's unfortunately too late. That jab though, if he works that jab, I don't know, he'll be all right. But Canelo still has that power. Triple G, of course, has power, but who knows? Maybe it ran out, and I'm 40 years old. Of course, it didn't run out too much, but that fight's going to be very going to be awkward. Going to be awkward. It's a fight that's too late. It should have happened a year or two ago, but obviously with COVID, the money was going to be right. But this is going to be a great fight, though. Either way, it's going to be a great fight, 100%. It's going to be a great fight no matter what happens. I mean, Triple G got an insane chin. He packs a punch. Canelo got a good chin. So it's going to be a good fight either way. I think it's going to go to a decision. I don't think it will be a stoppage unless Canelo goes to the body. But I think there will be a good fight, and I'll go to a decision. But I still feel like Canelo's going to win. If I could predict, I'm going to go Canelo undisputed. No, I'm sorry, not undisputed. Well, he will be undisputed, but unanimous decision. Then we have Haney versus Kambosos for the rematch. Of course, a lot of people don't want this. This will be in a couple weeks or months. I think that's in October. I'll be back in Australia also for undisputed. I know a lot of people didn't want this. I kind of agree with them. But who knows? You never know in a rematch. Anything could happen. Obviously, they needed the rematch because I was in the contract. But anything could happen. Who knows? I was a big Kambosos guy, but he just got destroyed by Haney. Haney put on an absolutely amazing performance against Kambosos in Australia. 20 hours away from home. He did one of the best performances I've seen ever, probably, that I've been watching boxing against Kambosos. Kambosos has to learn to actually land punches if he's going to want to beat Haney. Haney would land a 1-2. He'd land a combo. Kambosos would try to come back with that, and Haney would he'd make him miss. He embarrassed Kambosos. I don't think he won a single round. Maybe one of those first 3 rounds he might have won, but other than that, Haney won 11-1 that game. Not that game, that boxing match. But now the winner of that could be Loma, can face Loma. So hopefully, I don't know if hopefully, I think it's going to be a good fight no matter what. I think here's the thing. If Haney versus Loma will be a very, very good fight. If it's Kambosos versus Loma, I think Loma wins. Pretty easy, actually. But Haney versus Loma, that's a fight I don't know. At the same time, Haney looks like he's getting big compared to Loma. Like, Haney's just a natural, bigger fighter than Loma is. Loma is kind of like a junior lightweight. That I feel like that's like his better division. But lightweight, I think it's a little too big for Loma. So unless he puts on more muscle, but it's hard to, obviously, without going up a division. But I feel like Haney, after this fight, the best thing for him should move up. That's a weak division in super lightweight, so I think he can move up. That'll be a better fight for him. But we'll see. I want to see Loma get in the ring, though. I want to see him face a good fighter, whether it's Haney, whether it's Tank, Garcia. I want to see him fight a better fighter. That wraps up, though, the Big Donch podcast. Had a good time recording. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and had a good time listening. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube, Big Donch. Make sure to like me on Spotify. I'm out, guys. Peace.